could accept the fact that this city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportion. Biblical. What is this Old Testament? Yeah, they are real wrath of God type. Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas, water. Years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes. The sea of rising from the grave. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria.
Broadcasting live from the WDCE studios out of the University of Richmond, you're listening to 90.1 FM from the most trusted puppet and media. Reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam Newsman, and this is Saturday morning. I want to thank everyone, of course, for joining in the show. Here we are. We do have the Sam Cams up and running. We have the Sam Cam up here on Instagram. We also have the Sam Cam running here on YouTube. I do believe that the YouTube feed is a little bit better because I do have a microphone next to the phone. But I do see DFS. Shout out to DFS for submitting some songs on the last segment. Now, DFS, there are some other songs that you submitted, but I will play those not next week, but the week after that. Ran a little bit over on the last segment with Deep Cut Dave, but I did play a couple of songs for you. David the Gnome, of course. David the Gnome seemed to be very popular in the chat. So that was a very popular one as well. But thanks again. Shout out to DFS. Make sure you follow him on Instagram. And how do you get there? Just type in DFS over and over and over and over and over again. And you will be able to follow. He's doing a lot of interesting work, amazing work, Diaclone work. And I believe he's going to be doing some Dino Riders. Well, not actual Dino Riders, similar to Dino Riders, basically his own lines, his own stuff. But anyways, it's fantastic. Fantastic stuff. Definitely has taken the reins when it comes to 3D printing. See some other people there in the chat here on Instagram. Kurt Kenobi, Roundhead K2000. Yes, I do have people down here also. And like I said, if you want to join in, we have the Sam Cam running up at Sam Newsman on Instagram, at Sam Newsman, or Sam Newsman here on YouTube. So yeah, David the Gnome, my guy. Seem to be a lot of people's guys. Like I said, TNT Nate, probably be calling up here in a minute after, I believe, Casual. So I believe Casual should be calling in. Lone Dragon, shout out first in the chat. Sam News the Man. I like that. Of course, everyone always wants to say Sam the Newsman. It's not Sam the Newsman. My middle name is not the. It's just Sam Newsman. But I like that, Lone Dragon. Shout out to Lone Dragon. So Sam News the Man. But like I was telling you guys earlier, it was interesting. A couple of weeks back, Hasbro decided to do this thing. Well, it was a couple months back. They decided to go with this thing called the Selfie Series. The Selfie Series. You familiar with that? A lot of people, a lot of these 30, 40-year-olds have now grown up, and a lot of 3D printing going on, and people have started printing out their own head sculpts, popping off the head sculpt of another figure, and then putting their head sculpt on a figure. And of course, leave it to Hasbro to go ahead and come up with a whole program where they actually have they take a picture of you, or you take a picture of yourself. And what happens is they will then print out a figure. They'll print out a figure of yourself. Now, of course, we have Casual. Casual, are you there? Oh, good morning, Casual. How are you this morning? I'm doing fantastic. Listen, I was just telling the listeners here just a few moments ago about Hasbro and the Selfie Series, something that they came out with a couple months back. Can you go over that whole program just for a few moments? And they do a couple of different lines. It's not just one line in particular. There's a couple of different ones. Isn't that correct? And when it comes to these figures, it seems that now there was a pretty high price point if I'm not mistaken. Was what was the price point on that?
$60 starting off. I've heard people say they're trying to do
$80 for a figure of yourself. Well, you ended up getting yours this week, I believe. Is that correct? You, anyways, if anyone wants to know, follow the Casual Toy Collector on Instagram. He did post a picture of it. And of course, you can always listen to the Casual Toy Chat every Friday and Saturday night, 10:30. You also do late nights with Kaz anywhere around 10:30, 11 o'clock, or 10, whenever you show up during the week. But definitely on Fridays and Saturdays, 10:30 on YouTube. That's the Casual Toy Chat with you, of course, the Casual Toy Collector. Now, Casual, you like I said, you got your. I can't even finish. I can't even finish my thought. I can't even finish my thought. Lone Dragon saying Kaz with the Simon Phoenix selfie. So, Kaz, would you just go over exactly real quickly about what was a little bit unique about your selfie series and what happened? Well, that's just putting it mildly. So now, just for the record, Casual is white, so he is white, and so, but what happened is that when you got your selfie series, what happened? That's right. That's what Lone Dragon was saying. Simon Phoenix, I believe. But yeah, Simon Phoenix, the Simon Phoenix selfie, and so you ended up you were white. And you ended up getting a figure that was based off you, but it was black, basically. So so in terms of, yeah, so they completely did a race swap. I guess they do. They did that with King Grayskull not too long ago. King Grayskull used to be white. Now King Grayskull is black. So Casual, you used to be white, but when it came to your action figure, now you're black. Of course. So now I've seen a lot of these selfie series, and they haven't really, none of them have been really good. None of them have been that great at all. Very muddied face, and just not looking fantastic. But I believe the interesting thing about yours is that you had cornrows, right? When you took your selfie.
Yeah, yeah. I just picked one.
So maybe that was it. They were like, "Oh, well, let me see." Then I guess the lighting was wrong, but you did everything that you were supposed to. It's just that Hasbro ends up just sending you a white male, a black figure of yourself.
Well, me, our toy channel, have a very fun relationship. So I didn't wonder if they were supposed to first.
They were trolling. You think they were trolling you? They were like, "Oh, we know who that is. Let's go ahead and do that." Oh, I have someone in the comments section, Ash Bailey, saying, "Oh no, don't worry about it. It's just a black wash." It's just a fantastic, fantastic. So I guess with now that you having a race swap figure, I don't see you probably getting another one. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm just for
Just
there's plenty of free fun stuff just like the other stuff. Probably about the same price.
well, listen, with all of your 3D printers, oh, you could probably print out your own damn head and do better than that. Oh my goodness.
I just took a lazy person thing. I figured out that's gonna be hard work for me. And they let us down like they always do.
Yeah, of course they let us down. Like, yeah, that's it seems to be par for the course with Hasbro, letting people down over and over and over and over again. So you're pretty bummed out, of course. Bummed out. Well, are you bummed out? Are you upset about it, or you just roll with the punches and just laughing with it?
I think it's hilarious, man. I think it's hilarious. I'm enjoying all the stuff going off the figure. It's just fun, man. I've lost $60 on work before, so why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Was it Lone Dragon just said in the comments? Hell, no one even remembers when Nick Fury was white. So listen, so that's the truth too. So Casual, of course, a couple of things that I wanted to talk to you about. First off, is your 3D printing business. How has that been coming along?
A lot of friends
Right. So, of course, I believe that Joe Fest is in June. Are you thinking about getting a table this year finally at Joe Fest? You know, it is in your backyard, by the way.
Yeah, just finally this year, I will be able to play with that.
It's going to be very fantastic. That's in June. Looking forward to that. Another thing, of course, that I have looking forward to is next weekend. Me and you are both going to be attending Retro Toy Con in Greenville, South Carolina. Now, last year we were there, and it was very interesting because we ended up getting a couple of figures that had not been released yet. And we got them way before the public. Can you just go ahead and talk about that for just a moment?
Yeah, you were doing an interview, walked in the door, right to that alleyway.
That's right. We walked in, and of course, you were holding the camera, shaking like a leaf. Shaking like a leaf. You're like, oh my gosh, we got to get this. Stop interviewing the figures, Sam. We need to buy them. And of course, if you just leave it to me, of course, we were going to get them anyway. But I was the first. I was the first puppet, first media puppet, or the only media puppet. Well, the first person to actually interview a bat and an alley viper live at the show. So of course we were ahead of the curve. Now it's interesting because a couple of weeks back, I asked you. I said, "What do you think is going to be this year's secret figure that they released?" And you told me you gave me a couple of different things. You said something about March, but what was your guess of this year's secret figure that they're going to have before everybody else?
I feel like we're going to walk into that again. I think it's going to be the Crimson Bed. I think the Crimson Bed, that I believe that it's got a March 23 release. That was similar to what was going on last year. So I think we're going to see a Crimson Bed. And I think there's going to be two characters similar to this way. Maybe it'll be Brown or somebody.
So, do you think
Releasing that? Maybe that's Brown.
it might be a couple of them? It seems like that the Toy Federation down there in South Carolina has the hookup. So, you go to Joe Fest, they don't have nothing there, but then you go to Retro Toy Con, and then they have everything there. So that should be a very interesting situation. So you're calling, so you have your bets placed on the Crimson Bat, possibly Zorana, and maybe Dusty as well. Be very interesting. Of course, my question is, do you think they're going to have them for $50 again? Way overpriced. 60. Oh, you know what? You're absolutely right. Yeah, nothing makes me more happier than paying for a $15 figure that's now 24, 35, and now 50. Well, everyone's always complaining about Super 7 and their $55 figures, and now all of a sudden you have toys in the toy aisle, action figures in the toy aisle creeping up on that number as well. What do you have to say about that, Kaz? Well, I'll tell you, there's a couple of other figures that you've recently picked up. We are marching our way towards the end of the year. And one of the things I did want to ask you before I let you go is there a particular figure this year that has come out that has been your favorite? Other than your selfie series, of course. I know, put you on the spot just like that. Boom. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. What do you think? What's that? What do you think it's going to be? The Serpentor, yes, the Serpentor, and yeah. So that is supposed to be coming out, and you think that's going to? Oh, so it'll be sitting on your porch by the time you get back from Retro Toy Con, possibly. Yeah, and until the Amazon guy or whoever is dropping it off, the FedEx guy is like, "Oh, wait a minute, I know what this is," and they never deliver it. Seems to happen all the time with people. It's ridiculous. It does. It does happen. It does happen. Leave it up to Hasbro to have somebody who deliver your Serpentor, and then all of a sudden be like, "Oh, wait a minute, I know what this is," and they just take it. Now, hopefully that won't be the case. Hopefully that won't be the case. But so Serpentor is who you're thinking is going to be the one, your figure of the year. And I'm excited to see it too. I do have a buddy of mine downtown, Cody from Toy Layer, asked me the other day if he could actually have uh, my Serpentor. Now I told him, I said, well, I need to think about it because one of the things that I wanted to do is I wanted to take that Serpentor and of course not put him on his chariot and wait until I get the Super 7 Cobra Commander Ultimates figure. And what I want to do, of course, is put that Super 7 Ultimates Cobra Commander on Serpentor's chariot so I can watch the entire GI Joe community have a collective aneurysm because because it just seems like that when it comes to the Super 7 Ultimates figure, they tend to bring up a lot of hate all over the place. I'm not sure why. Not sure why, because everybody always wanted to have Sunbow figures, and of course, allow Super 7 to come finally do it, and then everybody is just throwing shade and hate. I'm not sure exactly what that's all about. Oh, I know. Oh, it's the articulation. It's the articulation. They don't have enough elbows. So it's interesting, it's Casual, because they always complain about the articulation, but yet we have all these people that are buying Mythic Legions, and they don't have any art. They have similar articulation that a Super 7 would, not double jointed elbows, no double jointed knees, and all this other stuff. But of course, people love those. They love those. They're raving for those with their limited articulation, their loosey goosey legs, and everything else. But then they want to sit there and knock on Super 7s. And, oh, no, they don't have articulation. So I'm not really sure exactly what that's all about. But yeah. Right, absolutely. I have Skydro Walker over here in the chat saying, once the Super 7 Cobra Commanders on Serpentor's chariot, it would then be flying trash. Yay, flying trash. Oh man, flying trash. Shout out to Skydro Walker. Well, Kaz, like I said, yep. Say yeah, and you know what you can do if you use the code Skydro. That's SKYDRO at extremesets.com. You can save 15%. And that's absolutely, and in these troubled times, as Toy Town being destroyed and inflation is causing figures to rise, that 15% goes a long way. Goes a long way. And of course, like I said, now your photographs will not look as good as at Skydro Walker on Instagram. So it no now and that's just a fact, because he's really great when it comes to the photography. But hell, you know what? You can at least save 15% while trying. Now, Casual, once again, I want to thank you for calling into the show. Real quickly, how can people find you again online?
Kasual Toy Collector on Instagram, William Brown on Facebook, Kasual Toy Collector on YouTube.
And when do you stream on YouTube again?
We will be on 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
And of course, and when you're there, you always you do something very special, and that a lot of people it's a huge broadcast risk. It's a huge broadcast risk, and sometimes it has come to bite you a little bit. But what do you do differently, or what have you done that a lot of people would be completely scared to do when it comes to your stream?
Two things. We do an intro route every week, and
That's right. Anyone can join. You put a link in the chat so people can come in and they can show off their action figures. They can show off their toys. And yes, like you said, what you guys have been doing, you have been doing the Flex Friday anthem for this entire year. This last night was Flex 45, which was fantastic. And of course, next week you're going to be with me at Retro Toy Con, so that means you're going to have to end up making the song prior to even coming. Is that correct? Or are you going to? Gotcha. Well, that should be fantastic. Really looking forward to it. And Casual, thank you so much for calling. And like I said, if you do get a little brave, I dare you to go in and try to get another selfie series. See if they'll probably send you one with pink skin next time, like me. The old Pepto Pink. So. Fantastic. Well, Casual, thanks so much for calling once again. Kasual Toy Collector on Instagram, and you can the Kasual Toy Chat and Kasual Toy Collector on YouTube. 10:30 tonight, also 10:30 on Fridays as well, and then during the week sometimes you're also streaming all the time. Being the Casbar, a place for the people to just come and chill and relax during the evening, talk about toys, talk about whatever. But Casual, I want to thank you for calling into the show. And absolutely, and we're gonna see you next week. See you next week in person, live from Retro Toy Con. The Kasual Toy Chat live from Retro Toy Con next Friday night at 10:30. So thanks so much, Kasual. You have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you tonight, this evening, probably in the chat. Absolutely. That's once again the Kasual Toy Collector. Kasual Toy Collector on YouTube. And like I said, one of the things about Kasual is that when I was not able to broadcast here from the station, when the station was shut down for several months during the pandemic, it was Kasual who allowed me to show up live on his stream, have a place to come and hang out. So and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, it's a real puppet." Well, of course I did. Of course, I'm a real puppet. I had a radio show prior to that for a couple of years. I didn't have anywhere to go, so just started hanging out on Fridays and Saturday nights with Kasual and Brucey. Shout out to Brucey as well. But yeah, that was it was great. So like I said, we're really looking forward to that Retro Toy Con next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Greenville, South Carolina, and that will be a very interesting time. A very, very, very interesting time. Let's see. Devoid of Logic says, Sam, you would look great as a selfie with Indiana Jones. I think I would too. That would be that's actually a good idea. Of course, I'm scared after Kasual gotten his as he's gotten his figure, whether or not it'll probably make my skin blue. You know, they'll make my skin blue instead of pink. It'll end up being purple or something. You know, so it's ridiculous. Oh yeah. Lone Dragon wanted me to make sure I let everybody know that's Kasual with a K, Kasual, Kasual with a K. So DFS mentioned making a comment. Of course, I was telling you guys earlier about the whole Super 7 Ultimates, the Super 7 Ultimates wave, and he says it depends. If it depends at the Depends diapers and the sculpts that they have. Everybody always throwing shade at Super 7. I mean, I didn't mind the bat. I didn't mind the bat. Of course, it was made in Vietnam. It wasn't the best of quality. I talked to General Bobby Valla about that, and he was telling me, of course, the reason why is because his factories in Vietnam are not as versed as the ones in China. Oh, we got another call here coming in. Let's see who we have here. Caller, you are here live with the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, Sam Newsman. Who is here on the phone? Who is it? Curtis. Curtis, how are you doing this morning? Listen, first I want to thank you for your service. Yesterday was Veterans Day, but I actually definitely want to thank you. And you know, you were also with me on Tuesday night when we were doing the live election coverage, 4 hours of election coverage. Now that video is now private. It's actually behind a wall, but we did have a great time with that. So how are you doing this morning, Curtis? Well, there you go. Listen, I always encourage people to watch cartoons, listen to my shows, see me on the Sam Cam, and it would definitely bring your Saturday mornings to a full circle of amazingness by doing all of that. So what is it? Oh, DFS said Bill. No, the Curtis guy. that's fantastic. So Curtis, I was just talking to Kasual just a few moments ago, and we were talking about different figures that have come out this year. Has there been anything that's really caught your eye during this year in terms of action figures and collecting?
I actually started getting into
Oh, the Masterverse is it the No, yeah, okay. Was there a bit?
I really started checking them out. I'm like, they're really sculpted really well.
They are sculpted really well. It's interesting. I was just bringing up a few moments ago about the Super 7 bat, and the bat is made in Vietnam. I believe that most of those Masterverse figures are also made in Vietnam as well. But the interesting thing is the Battle Cat. The Battle Cat. Do you have you seen the Battle Cat? Correct, the big old Battle Cat that they have.
Yeah.
That one is actually made in China, and you can tell it's a little bit different because of the plastic and just how heavy duty it is. Um,
Okay.
so it is quite a little bit different in terms of its structure than the ones that they're making down there in Vietnam. Is there a particular figure in that line that that sticks out into your mind since you've been collecting it?
The King Beast Man.
Oh, the Beast Man, with the
The bird.
a lot of people have really enjoyed that figure. They say that it's probably one of their favorites and one of the best ones in the line. And is there a reason why that one sticks out to you? Is it just because of its size or what it comes with?
Yeah, the size. Just how they did it slightly different, but kept like the same beast man. They just added the furs on the shoulders and stuff like that. I also really like the merman.
Oh, the Merman. Speaking of Merman, the Merman Kevin Conroy. Rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. Kevin Conroy was the voice of Merman in Masters of the Universe Revelation. So,
Yes, he was.
so I yeah, and I of course I did not realize that until the other day when I started seeing all the different roles that he had played, and I wasn't aware of that.
Same
But
here. Same here. I saw that list. All the stuff he did. Wow.
he did a lot, and the interesting thing is, I wish I would have had a chance to talk to him at GalaxyCon because I'd been there with him at GalaxyCon for a couple of times, but he was just always just so swamped, and he had lines and lines and lines of people, and of course, when you're in the green room with these, with these celebrities and stuff, you want to just kind of give them a little bit of space. Now, I do sometimes talk to the celebrities in the green room, but as far as getting an interview and talking to him directly, never really had too much of a chance to do that. But he did seem like a genuine guy. So, of course, everybody out there has been really upset over the last couple of days, knowing that he has now passed away. The voice of Batman has passed away. So,
Yeah, that goes to show you, like, if you're at these cons, these people, and you're like, well, maybe I'll get that person next time I'm come. So many times I've done that probably 4 or 5 times. The next year they, get past.
yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I'll tell you, one of the ones that I think about all the time is if you're familiar with the Road Warriors, the Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
So I was at my very first GalaxyCon. My very first GalaxyCon, I was able to interview Animal from the Road Warriors, and I was very happy to interview him. And of course, I was looking forward to seeing him again because one of the things I've been doing now is when I interview somebody, I then take them a picture of me and them together that I signed, and then I had them sign one for me, so I can hang it up on my wall. But unfortunately, it was shortly thereafter, about a year or so, a year and a half after I had talked with Animal, that he did pass away. So, but you're absolutely right. You never know. You never know when these people might pass away, specifically as they're getting up there in their later years. Well, a couple years back, I interviewed the voice of Bambi, say Donnie Duncan, I believe, or so I believe that, and then also the voice, no, the original Tinkerbell, not the voice of Tinkerbell, but the original actress who was Tinkerbell.
Oh wow.
She was the one. She actually called me over. She said, "When are you going to interview me?" And of course, well, of course, I'm going to have to interview Tinkerbell. So, but absolutely, you're absolutely right. When you have an opportunity to talk to these celebrities and these voice actors, you just never know what could come about. Like I said, we're never guaranteed the next day. Hell, we're not even guaranteed the next few moments. So, you're absolutely right. Good observation that when you go to these conventions, make sure that you go and see these people and have them sign whatever you need to. But at least just go and talk to them. A lot of times, of course, they want you to buy something like a picture, or if you have, like, of course, everybody has a Funko Pop, so you sign Funko Pops. But just talking with these individuals at these conventions is quite amazing. Do you have a convention story of someone who you talked to that you remember?
Yeah, our Motor City Comic-Con, which is the fourth biggest Comic-Con in the country, supposedly. Um, me and my friends, me and my veteran friends went there, and Linda Blair was there,
Oh, wow.
right? My friend had to go up and ask her the wrongest question.
Is it something that you can say on the radio?
Well, I'll keep it clean.
There you go.
Right?
There you go. That's fine. That's fine.
He basically asked if she slept with Rick James.
Oh,
Her eyes just rolled back.
oh man, and then her head spun around too, is right? So her eyes rolled in the back. Hey, well, hey,
Yeah,
you had to go ask. They do, and they like to hear stories. They like to hear stories of just how that they have touched your life in the art that they do, whether it be TVs, movies, or whatever. So, but ah, oh, that's
Arnie Anderson, Ric Flair, and Tully Blanchard, and CJ
oh man, that's wow. That's a great group. I interviewed Arnie Anderson years ago, and I asked him. I said, "Well, hey, can I be an honorary four horseman?" And he said, "Well, anybody can be an honorary four horseman unless you have pink skin." So I didn't make the cut. I didn't make the cut. I believe he's a pinkist. He's a pinkist. He's a pink hater. So I wasn't able to get my honorary four horseman membership because I'm pink. Well,
maybe next time you can get like a little bit of tan on you where you turn a little purple.
that's right. No, I turn a little purple if I go ahead and order a selfie series. That's what's going to happen. So I order a selfie series, they'll send it to me, and they won't be pink. I'll be purple. So well, Curtis, I want to thank you, of course, for calling into the show once again. Thank you for your service, and
Thank you for calling. Thank you for my service. Thank you for paying tax.
oh yeah, that's right. That's right. That paid your salary. Absolutely. Well, you have a good one, Curtis, and we'll see you, of course, in the chats all across social media. Oh, so, Curtis, how can people follow you on social media again? What's
I'm on Instagram, and you can find me on YouTube on Ked's channel or Free Live channel.
awesome?
Time to time, so
Awesome. So it's Kurt Kenobi on Instagram. Kurt Kenobi on Instagram. Well, Kurt, once again, thanks for calling into the show, and we will see and talk to you later.
thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, Kurt Kenobi here, of course, calling into the show. Yeah, Kurt's great. Kurt's great. Does a fantastic job of giving his inside inputs. Oh, we got to look another caller here as well. Caller, you are live here with the most trusted puppet in media on the only radio show dedicated to the magic of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real puppet. Who's on the phone? Who is this?
Sam, I hate you, Kasual Toy Collector. I hate you, baby. You guys are terrible people. You don't do anything nice for anybody.
Yeah.
I was thinking about deep cuts, Dave, and I was like, oh, there's a deep cut that's deeper than any deep cut. That's the comic strip.
Oh,
I know you remember that.
the comic strip. Well, yeah, absolutely. The comic strip is very good. Well, I was talking about Jules Bass. Jules Bass passed away a couple of weeks ago, and I, of course, completely missed over it. Just getting busy. Yeah, I should do a whole show of just Rankin and Bass. Well, the Christmas is coming up here soon. Christmas is coming up here soon, and there will be definitely a lot of songs from those old Rankin and Bass shows. But yeah, I want to definitely want to thank you for calling. So now, of course, everybody knows this is a Crazy Toys. So what?
I just want to call and say, thanks for what you do, and more blanket, he's the real operator behind everything.
Yeah, he's right over my shoulder.
I wanted to thank Kasual for his platform for everybody. I would say it's really nice that he lets people express who they are and come on and do the thing. I want to personally thank him for letting me show off my dogs, because I've been going through something with my dog, and it really helps me get through what's going on. But,
well, yeah. Pungo is the official dog mascot of the Casual Toy Chat. So, yeah, so the official mascot. Yeah, the official mascot. Broadcasting live from Crazyville indeed. But yeah, yes, Pungo, the official dog mascot of the Casual Toy Chat, and it's always a pleasure seeing Pungo when she shows up.
I appreciate you guys giving the platform for everybody. You and Kasual be safe at Retro Toy Con for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And you have a great rest of the weekend, Crazy Toys. We will talk to you soon.
Yeah, take care. Thanks.
Yep. That was Crazy Toys, of course. From Crazyville, and he always comes up all the time. But definitely a really yes. Shout out to once again Pungo. Shout out to Pungo. Yep, that's right. So let's see here. I believe I'm waiting for TNT Nate to call in. If he doesn't call in in the next couple of moments, I believe that we do have some theme songs, of course, to play. And one of the songs that I want to get into here in just a few moments are going to be based on what we were doing, or what we're going to be doing next weekend. So, DFS says he'll call in about 2 weeks. So he'll call in not next weekend, but the weekend after that. I'll definitely want DFS to call in, because I did save a couple of songs that he requested in the last cartoon block. But I'll play those like I said, in 2 weeks. Really good ones. I don't want to spoil it right now. I don't want to spoil those other ones, but they're really good. And he will definitely be calling in about 2 weeks. Trying to wait. I believe the TNT Nate is supposed to be calling in. I'm not sure if he's going to call in right now. He'll call in at the top of next hour. Of course, the top of next hour, we'll be talking a little bit about politics and the election coverage and everything like that. Once again, if you are listening, you can listen to us, WDCE 90.1 FM. Download the simple radio app, search WDCE. You can listen to the theme songs that we'll be playing here in the next segment in just a few moments. So, caller, you are live here with the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, Sam Newsman. Who am I speaking with? Hello? Wait a minute. Oh my gosh, it's the future. It's the Future Collector. The Future Collector. I was so worried last time that we talked. It was about 2 weeks ago. All of a sudden, the hard line got cut out. You were being chased by robot dogs with lasers and machine guns, and also talking about the mosquitoes with the barcodes. What is going on? Are you okay? Are you safe and secure underneath your cardboard box? So the good old so there is hope. There's hope in the future because the clouds are breaking. Well, listen, I'm glad. I'm glad that there is hope. Listen, I always am thinking about you, future collector, being that you're the only person from the future that seems to be able to get here and be able to call into the show. I'm always worried, of course, about the event, Lord Blanket. Of course, you know that Toy Town has been destroyed and the imagination in Toy Town has been taken away. So I can only imagine what the imagination is like there. And of course, I'm very happy for you being able to find a box of crayons so you can actually make those sticks a little bit more colorful than just probably the brown and dark green and gray and well, whatever color they are in the future. So they can. Your car, well, a cardboard box, and there is hope. Well, listen, I do what I can here. But what's well, yeah, of course, the non-binary humans. What was that? What? No, no, what happened? No, wait. Oh no. No, that wasn't. It had to be the robot dogs. He's no longer there. Are you there? He's no longer there. He's no longer there. Well, hopefully next week that he'll be able to. Hopefully next week the future collector can call. There could be possibly a break in the clouds in the future, and he'll be able to get the signal back. Once again, so shout out, of course, TNT Nate will be joining us at the top of next hour, probably around 11:05, 11:07. Gonna hold. What? We got one more. Okay, one more phone call. Let's say one more phone call before we go. This might be TNT Nate now. Caller, you're here live with the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, Sam Newsman. Who am I speaking with?
TNT Nate, man.
Oh, there it is. TNT Nate. How are you this morning, sir?
I'm concerned, Sam. Have you heard from the future collector?
I just heard from him. He just called. He said there was a break in the clouds. He was able to catch a signal and call me up. And of course, just now, it's a little bit different with him than it is you. Now, you always seem to get cut off by the hard line, the guys in the back either, or Lord Blanket, cutting you off. But for some reason, when he calls, he's always getting chased by robot dogs with machine guns and RPGs and also, mosquitoes.
Because of what's going on now, Sam. Future proves past, Sam. We got to save the future collector. Imperative.
So are you telling me that we can actually prevent the future collector's future to becoming a reality?
Yes, Sam. And it all revolves around frequency, Sam. So this could be a whole hour-long episode, but I just got to let the audience know and let your viewers know of what's going on behind the scenes. So I've been doing a little digging, like I always do, and I found out on January 15, 2013, Putin revealed a new archive. It was the Tartaria archive, Sam. Are you familiar with Tartaria?
Oh, my goodness. I am familiar with Tartaria, but could you just go in just briefly about what Tartaria is?
Well, history will tell you, the mainstream narrative will tell you that Tartaria was just a smaller empire over near Russia. They don't even give you any details. And then they'll mention the Mongols and how. Listen, that's history that everyone should look into because it's interesting. But everyone listens to history. I found another story, Sam, a bigger story. And it's all, Putin may have gone too far. It seems to be he's going crazy. And this may just be his way of handling an old war. But what you have, Sam, is that the Tartarians had a much larger empire than we were ever told. And it revolved around free energy. It revolved around architecture. It revolved around frequencies, man. And you have them battling an old enemy. This is We're literally watching, as your song will state later in the show, we're watching a Game of Thrones.
So there's, what do you mean the Game of Thrones? You mean so all that is real?
We're watching the Tartarians versus the Khazarians, Sam. And the Khazarians are what you would call, those modern day guys that run those banks. And they may run and have infiltrated a lot of things, but you have two old school empires battling it out in real life, Sam. The Khazarians are using Lord Blankets. I told you Lord Blanket's behind it all. They're using Lord Blankets, and they're using AI and nanotech to steal the soul and the imagination of the human people on this planet, Sam. And the Khazarians are battling the Tartarians, and the Tartarians are slowly trying to wake the people up. That's why you hear all this. It's a vibe. It's about frequency. It's consciousness. There's a battle going on, Sam, and we just happen to be the casualties of it. And I'm afraid that we have to act now. We have to just wake up and change the frequency, Sam, so that we can save the future collector.
Well, so you're telling me that this is all part of Lord Blanket's plan, and the reason why Toy Town is now destroyed, imagination is gone, is because there's this ancient battle between Khazarians and the Tartarians.
Yes, Sam, just like they have been destroying castles, just like the old World Fairs were destroyed, Sam. They put it on display just to take it away, and that's exactly what Lord Blanket did. He destroyed Toy Town. He destroyed it all right in front of us just to show you his future plan.
Well, listen, my gosh. So, but what you're telling me is, though, that we do have the power in order to prevent the future collector's future from coming to pass.
We have the power, Sam. E-Man, come on, Sam.
I have the power. Well, TNT Nate, that is a lot to take in. But one of the things before I let you go, you were talking about in the chat about one of your favorite shows, David the Gnome. David the Gnome. And when I pulled it up this week, I do remember from several years ago you mentioning David the Gnome. So could you just go a little bit more into David the Gnome and why it's one of your favorites?
David the Gnome. See, I'm all worked up, Sam, because we have important things. But listen, old school cartoons, some of my favorite things to talk about, so we'll just talk about that. David the Gnome used to be a show that I watched all the time, and it came on Nickelodeon. And I thought it was wonderful. And then all of a sudden, one day, either I grew up, Sam, or the David the Gnome just wasn't on anymore. And it's like that old quote, you went out and played basketball with your friends one day, and it was the last time you ever did it. You didn't know. So now, in memory, since you mentioned David the Gnome, what I did this morning, Sam, is I went out and I got, because all of this stuff that I'm figuring out with the world, Sam, and what's happening and how it all relates back to Lord Blanket and Toy Town. And then it's just happening in real life with the Zionists. The Khazarians. Same team thing. But when everything's connecting, sometimes you just need the magic of Saturday morning. So I went and got some Fairy Captain Crunch, the milk, and I have David the Gnome queued up. I may have a little Batman queued up, a little Superman, and I'll have myself a Saturday morning. But I just thought it was imperative to call in, because we must save the future collector.
Well, hopefully, like you said, it's all on us now to, I guess, to channel our frequencies or whatever in order to make sure that the future collector's future doesn't come to pass thanks to Lord Blanket.
Channeling frequency, that sounds great. All you have to do is be positive and be aware that the history that you learned may not be the history that actually happened. And so just question, remember my saying, where's the truth? And we can wake up and save Future Collector, and we can get Toy Town back on the map.
Well, listen, I think that a lot of people would like that. I see the hashtag down there in the chat, that hashtag never forget Toy Town. Hashtag never forget Toy Town. And also I have down there DFS saying that David the Gnome is actually real. So David the Gnome is actually real. So probably hiding out right now because he knows that Lord Blanket.
Just like that book made in 1970, I think it was 1977. Everyone should get the book The Gnome. And if they really want to go on some deep cuts, get a book called The Fairies, and you'll understand where all of these beings come from. I think that was released in the early 70s. go get the books, then you don't want to go do that. Make sure you find old episodes of David the Gnome. Give it a watch.
Well, I definitely will, and I'm going to also go and check out some of these other old books that you mentioned, and I'm going to try to get my frequency to the right vibration.
You're doing right, Sam. You're spreading truth. You're saving Saturday morning. You're bringing magic to the people, Sam, and that's what we need. Because you know who can't stand this is Lord Blanket, and I don't know why General Shoe seems to always get me every single.
There you go. Yep. See, they can see the guys in the back. They cut the hard line. You guys cut the hard line again. Listen, he wasn't even really going that deep into anything. He was just talking about ancient history. He was just talking about ancient history. And you guys cut the hard line again. My goodness. It just bums me out every single time. Bums me out. Well, listen, I'm glad he was able to talk about David the Gnome. Yeah, David the Gnome did nothing wrong. David the Gnome did nothing wrong. Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are here broadcasting live from the WDCE studios out of the University of Richmond. You're listening to 90.1 FM, the only radio show dedicated to the magic of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real puppet. 804-289-UR90, 804-289-8790. We'll be back at the top of the hour, just on the other side of this. We're going to play a couple of cartoon themes. But like I said, in honor of next week, and the Retro Toy Con down in Greenville, South Carolina, all 4 original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles voice actors from the 1987 series will be there, and we hope to be able to interview each and every one of them. So, once again, you're listening to WDCE 90.1 FM, the only radio show dedicated to the magic and nostalgia of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real puppet. At Sam Newsman on Instagram, at Sam Newsman on Twitter, at Sam Newsman on TikTok, Sam Newsman on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Broadcasting live, once again, from the WDCE studios out of the University of Richmond. You're listening to 90.1 FM from the most trusted puppet in media. Reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam Newsman, and this is Saturday Morning.